Welcome back, everybody. So, before we get started, we do have some data coming out next week and some Fed speakers also speaking next week. We have 30-year mortgage rate, we have core PCE, and GDP next week. Now, on top of that, that's going to move the market. We have some earnings, Domino's, we got Hims, Zoom, Home Depot, Planet Fitness, Lowe's, and the biggest one that is going to move the market, Nvidia. Snowflake, CRM, Dell. So watch out, and if you want to take a screenshot of this, definitely you can. It's going to come handy going into trading next week. Welcome back, everybody, to the daily show where we discuss and do technical analysis on big mega cap stocks. So before we get started, please smash that like button, and 100 plus likes on this video would be greatly appreciated, guys. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, if you want to support the channel and get my daily trade ideas, my swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of setups, definitely check out their link down below in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into it, guys. On Apple stock, it was slightly down to a flat day on Friday, and you can see we got up really close to the gap, and then we got a rejection because everything was selling off on Friday. We had OPEX. On top of that, Michigan sentiment was not really great, and the market sold off aggressively. And you can see Apple actually came down. What's good here on Apple stock that is the only thing holding up this entire market. And we did close over this 5-day moving average, which is sitting exactly at 245. So your key line in the sand going into Monday's session tomorrow, 245. And if that gives up, this thing might slide back down to 240, 50-day moving average, and then 237. To the upside, we still have unfinished business. So if this thing wants to run and find support here at the 5-day moving average, it can push back up to 249.43, or I would say 250, to close this gap right here on top. And over that 250 range, this thing can come back up and retest previous all-time highs right here at 260. On Microsoft, is down 1.90%. So Microsoft had this run up last week within just 2 days, back up to near 420, and then we had this breakdown on Friday underneath 413, and now looks like we might be coming back down to 405 and maybe even retesting and making a new low for 100. So Microsoft definitely not looking good with this candle that we got on Friday. Now there will be resistance here on Microsoft right here at 411, 413, 418, and then 420. If this thing cannot recapture and cannot get above 420, I don't see Microsoft going up and closing this gap anytime soon. And there might be some more downside in the short term, possibly down to 400 to even maybe 390. On AMD, it's down near 3%. So we talked about it before in my video that, it's forming this bear flag right here. We definitely got this breakdown on Friday from this bear flag, and now it's holding up right here at 110. So that's going to be a key line in the sand going into Monday's session. Underneath that level, we will retest these lows down here, 106, and from there, it can go to flat 100. Now, if this thing recovers and finds support at 110, watch out for the resistance right here at 112.42, over that 114, and if we can clear all that, then watch out for a move back up to 118. And I don't think that's going to happen unless Nvidia comes out with really good earnings. Then watch out, this thing might pump back up to the upside and gets out of this downtrend that AMD is actually on for the last couple of months. On Google, stock is down 2.71%. So Google breaking down, and you can see we did not hold this support 184, and looks like early as Monday morning we might be closing this gap 178, and that's going to be a massive opportunity. People that are looking at this gap and thinking about possibly buying shares or going long here, fantastic opportunity if that happens going into next week, and especially that happens Monday. Now Google, it's been selling off for past couple days. It was consolidating here, and now you can see a breakdown below these lows. So there will be resistance at 184, 186, 189, 193.57 above these moving averages. That's when it's going to look bullish. Now, the only support I can see to the downside and the critical support, that would be down here at 178. Now that is not over 184. Underneath this level, it's going to look like that, gap fill reversal not going to happen, and you're going to see more dump off on Google stock, possibly down to even 170. So if you're buying and going long, definitely buy slowly into it. You never go and buy anything like all at once, because if this thing comes down, you can buy and average down at a cheaper price than buying up here or buying right up here, and now you're trying to average down. So when things are coming down, that is when a great opportunity, especially on a big name like Google. But when these things are going up and just flying even higher, we don't go and chase these things, especially at all-time highs. Now I think the opportunity and the timing is right as this thing comes down, slowly buying into it and going long right here on Google stock. On Amazon, stock is down 2.83%. So Amazon, we did get the dip here on Amazon on Friday, and this thing did not play out really well. It actually dumped, and we actually got a little bit more here at the end of the day, and just holding the position here on Amazon because how oversold this thing is. So just because things are going down, you don't have to go and short inside this hole. We were really close to the gap right here, 214. We talked about it before that under 220 we might see 216 and the gap fill reversal at 214 right here on Amazon. And looks like we might be heading down to this level at some point. So Amazon, at the end of the day, it was holding at least 216 previous rejection, now acting as a support, and you can see it was acting as a support right here as well. So now to the upside, there will be resistance at 220, and we might go back up early as Monday to recapture and retest lower Bollinger Band right here, retrace lower Bollinger Band, which is sitting at 220, and possibly can come up and even retest 5-day moving average near 224 to 25. Now, if this thing gives up and opens below 216, there is a gap at 214. That could be a critical support also. And underneath this level, it's going to come down to this gap, 208. So fantastic opportunity also on Amazon. But again, I would not go and buy these dips aggressively. If you're buying these, definitely, start with smaller position, really small position, and then slowly buy into it. Don't go aggressively and just buy a whole bunch of contracts or even shares, because there might be a little bit more downside in the short term. On Netflix, it's down 2%. So just like I said, we can retest 1,000, and we were right there on Friday down to 1,000, and we closed barely just over 1,000. So Netflix critical level here at 1,000. If that gives up, we might be landing down here 986 to even 951, and then 936 to the upside. Now there will be resistance here at 1029, and if we can clear that, then you're going to see Netflix going back up. But I don't think that's the case. I think this 1000 might break at some point, and we got a massive gap down here, so this thing might come down uh, over time in next couple of weeks right here to close this gap from earnings. On Meta, it's down 1.62%. So Meta definitely got a flush under 700. And now you can see the next support was holding, guys, right here at 682. So that's going to be your key line in the sand going into tomorrow's session, 682. If that gives up, this thing will come down to 664, 653. And from there, it can go much, much lower, maybe even retest previous breakout right here at 638. We get some sort of a counter trend rally going into tomorrow's session, and the support holds at 682. Watch out for the resistance at 700, 712.45, and then 725 on Meta. On Tesla, stock is down whopping almost 5% on Friday, and we did close this gap right here. And this thing looks like it wants to come down a little bit more and possibly wants to retest 330 and maybe even close this gap at 324.68. This might be the case. Now, if you look at it, guys, it was kind of bear flagging right here, and we got the confirmation breakdown on Friday. So definitely watch out. Tesla might be coming down here at 330, maybe even closing this gap at near 325, and it can actually find a strong support here. If not, the next critical support I would say on Tesla would be right here, from this gap up and go around 270 to 280. So keep that in mind. Tesla might have more downside in the short term, and that's why I don't like buying Tesla when this thing is hitting all-time highs and then coming off. I would like to see it down significantly, closing some big gaps, and then you go and buy into Tesla. Plus, there is no big catalyst going on right here. They're slashing, prices down on the Cybertruck because these things are not really selling that well. And Chinese market, definitely, these Chinese companies are actually producing way, way better cars than Tesla for less money. And these cars are really nice. They're luxury cars. They look nice. They feel nice than these Teslas that are selling in Chinese market. So Tesla, yes, I mean Elon Musk is doing a great job. Maybe whatever he's doing, but it just not working out for the Chinese market, which is a big market for Tesla. So watch out if this thing actually gets a bounce. There will be strong resistance here at right here at 247. Over that, you might see a move up to 362 here on Tesla if we get some sort of a counter trend rally back up to the upside here on this thing. On Nvidia stock, I was down 4% on Friday, and I had this rising wedge right here on my screen. I took it off so you guys can see it clearly that we got this breakdown from this rising wedge or also gap fill reversal to the downside after filling this gap from the deep seek gap down. And now it's not even holding 136. Next critical support will be down here, 130, and we can come down rapidly here on Nvidia if that's the case going into tomorrow's session. Underneath that level, 126. But also keep that in mind, earnings coming out Wednesday night right after closing. So that's going to be a big one to possibly move the market in one direction. But hopefully it's not flat because otherwise, I know there's a lot of people that gamble on earnings, you're gonna lose money. So, I would suggest, stay away from earnings and wait, for the earnings to come out and then see what direction this thing picks. And then from there, you can play it, depending on how the earnings actually on Nvidia. So going into tomorrow's session, there will be resistance at 136 now, and over that, this thing can come back up to maybe 142 to 144.56. We did not even get there on this rally. Now, to the downside, underneath 136, critical support at 130, 126, and then we're going back all the way down to 118. And that's all I have for you guys in this video, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated going into Monday night.